Hey, welcome back to the Backyard Quarterbacks. Hosting today, Ryan Hartle. We got Tyler Rust with the Gator, and then Adam Clifton with the Columbia, right?
The library in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah, library in the background.
these are all my books.
So it's been a while. I can't really remember. I think we left off on Florida State, Florida. Um, and then we decided maybe to wait a couple weeks, and then it was like, oh, we'll wait after the national championship game, and oh, we'll wait after the Jaguars game. So we got some things to talk about, but it sounds like since college football has ended, let's jump into that national championship game, which it was Alabama, Georgia, the return, part two from the SEC championship. Alabama won the first game. I got to throw it in there. I was like, well, if Georgia loses, they'll probably win the national championship. And fast forward, here we are. They won the national championship. So hopefully you saw our last podcast and won a lot of money from my prediction.
Bet with Hartle.
It started off a boring game. I was actually texting, I texted Adam, or I guess the group, just saying, but Ryan wasn't talking to me at that time. But I was like, man, this is a really boring game, because that first half was pretty. It was all defense, but it wasn't like defensive big plays. It was just stops, and they couldn't move the ball. But it really picked up in that second half. Became a pretty interesting game. So Georgia, they didn't fold after the loss to Alabama. Came out and handled business with Michigan, and now they're national champs. Nobody can give them a hard time about not winning since the 80s anymore.
40 years. Yeah, it was 40 years. Really boring first half of the game, like me and Tyler were talking about. And then that second half, it really picked up. And then great story with that kid for Georgia, Stetson Bennett. Went to Georgia, left, went to like a JUCO college, came back. When he came back to Georgia, he was like the fourth string on the depth chart. Got the starting job, lost it, got it back. Really, really good game. Obviously, I'm sure we all have like a bunch of friends that are, Georgia Bulldog fans, and what a year for them, man. Braves and then Georgia. Well overdue. And I guess now we can't talk as much shit on the Georgia fans now that we're all right near 40 years of age, a little bit younger, but they had never seen it in their lifetime. And they finally have. So nice for them to finally relish and enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously, as a Florida State fan, Georgia winning the national championship doesn't hurt me as maybe it would a Florida Gator fan.
Right.
And knowing a lot of Georgia fans and stuff, it was definitely due time. I mean, it was probably going to be, and I think we talked about it, another kind of Atlanta Braves situation. Like, listen, you had the best team for a decade, and you won what? One?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, are they going to win it? Are they going to win it?
Yeah.
Atlanta finally won it in '95. Georgia came through and won it this year. But they definitely had one of the better teams, if not the best teams, the past couple of years now. But they finally pulled through, got it. Florida State knows about that. I mean, we didn't think we'll ever get it. They had quotes of Bobby Bowden. He'll say on my tombstone, but he played Miami. Like, great coach, but he played Miami. Then he got himself a couple. So good for Georgia.
Best defense we've seen in a long time.
I was the next day, I actually didn't. I remember being in the shower while it was going on. I think washing my daughter, and Jackson came in and was like, it was a scoop and score. It was a scoop and score. I was like, that's like a defense. Like, they picked up the fumble, ran for a touchdown. And he's like, yeah, that's what happened. And then he came back in and said something. And I was like, all right, whatever, I can.
Oh, so that was like the start of the game, right?
Yeah. So when I started watching the game, it was like 3-0. I was like, he doesn't even know what the heck he's talking Alabama about. Yeah. But then I saw the replays of, I guess it was a forward pass or whatever happened. It wasn't a fumble.
Those damn ACC refs. Of course, they're going to call it a forward pass.
Yeah, they are known to be terrible. But my feed was like trash in Georgia. Like, I had people in there like, don't even tell me that it's the quarterback that won that game. And if another kid, Alabama didn't lose their number one receiver, different game. These other receivers can't catch the ball; they're dropping them. I mean, it was a lot of hate
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
towards in my feed. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everybody's was different. So
You must follow a bunch of Alabama fans or something, man.
Yeah.
you
Which is
think
Georgia haters.
so?
A bunch of Florida
Yeah.
fans.
right. So, but no,
No,
congratulations.
I mean, everybody's got to deal
Georgia.
with injuries, and if you're the team that comes out and doesn't have the injuries into the season, I mean, good for you. I don't think anybody should be penalized because some team had an injury.
Yeah.
Look at their whole year. You can't trash their
Yeah,
whole year.
Yeah, that's week to week, right? Like there's injuries
Yeah.
every game. So yeah, congrats, Hart. I think you're about to say it. Congrats to all of our Georgia friends. Well deserved. I think we can all agree, maybe even Gator fans, it's nice to see someone other than Alabama win it. I think the last
Not Georgia. No.
what like the last like few years has been what Alabama, Clemson, LSU.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was wanting somebody other than Alabama, but just not Georgia.
but not Georgia. Yeah.
I mean, still,
But,
I
I mean,
mean,
whatever. They deserve it. I can't say they don't.
yeah, with them recruiting like they are, it's just like even if they lost, like it's still you're, the bottom looking up of like
Yeah.
fighting against Alabama, Georgia,
Yeah.
LSU, getting tangled up with Auburn here and there. I mean, so it's Texas A&M number one in recruiting class, so
Yeah.
it's
Well,
very
and then
difficult.
Texas and Oklahoma on the horizon to come join the conference. So
Yeah. You still, I mean, as being
crazy
Florida,
conference.
you're still Florida. I don't think you start shivering and shaking or anything like that. That program can turn around lightning fast, a lot quicker
Well, that's
than
the benefit
Georgia's
of
40 years.
being our age too, is that one, at least I got to witness. So I got to witness 96. I was very young, but then I got to witness 06 and 08 and in my 20s, and that type of excitement, man. I mean, you can't really match it on many other things in terms of like just to get to watch those national championships happen. So
The
at least got
couple
to see that. But then
basketball
I know,
national
like,
championships too.
I mean, 10 years
Back
has
to
gone
back,
by
yeah.
so fast.
Your
Yeah.
20s was that period. Your 20s was, I mean, euphoria, sports wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the Jags. Still couldn't really do much for the Jags. But yeah, it was fun time. Yeah,
We
you're
had
talking about
season
Gators in
tickets. We had a
general,
good
so
time.
we did.
Yeah.
We definitely have fun at the Jags games. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, we did.
It just wasn't because honestly though, even when we weren't winning too much, when we had that stout defense, Marcus Stroud and then Big John Henderson. Man, it was a lot of fun to watch that defense. It's just too bad we couldn't win more games.
It's too bad that one guy didn't turn out. Who?
Matt Jones.
Matt Jones. Yeah, we had
Uh,
some fun times in the end zone.
Yeah,
end zone stands.
I
Yeah.
remember it was like a preseason game and Matt Jones, obviously first rounder quarterback, Arkansas. He makes like a one-handed catch, touchdown catch, in the end zone. And I'm like, man, the Jags really know what they're doing, drafting a quarterback and turning him to a wide receiver. It's like three or 4 years go by, and he gets cut for too much
charges.
cocaine. Yeah, yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
kind of lazy. I don't think he was,
No,
the hardest worker there. So.
Yeah. It was fun times though. I mean, we fried a couple turkeys and a couple
Yeah.
Yeah, Low Country
Boil
Country
with
boil.
Yeah, that was
Matt
really good.
Cruz. Yeah.
So those were good times, definitely.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to
So-
stop you from what you were going.
You talking to me or?
Yeah, you were talking about
I was just,
something,
obviously around because we had the 04s in basketball, and then we almost had that where the baseball almost won it in 05, and
mhm.
so it could have been a pretty nice. I mean, it was fun watching those sports teams, but
Hook 'em,
yeah,
Texas.
but I mean, whatever, it's gonna come around again. This 10 year, I can't believe it's been, that was 08, so you're talking about what, almost 15 years since that
Yeah.
national championship. The amount of time that
Next
quickly
year,
that's gone by.
it'll be 10-year anniversary for Florida State National Championship.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It feels like it was just yesterday though.
it does. It
Yeah.
does.
So
the talent's not leaving the state of Florida in terms of continuing to produce talent. So
Mhm.
we'll definitely have our times where we come back around. But
The way with Florida
See
State
how it
running,
is.
man, it looks like we're almost on year 10 of 40. So we
Well,
might we could very easily go 30 years, without a championship. It's not looking good for Florida State.
Yeah, but
Hartle, you mentioned recruiting. So Texas A&M, this is according to Rivals.com. Texas A&M #1, Georgia 2, Alabama 3, Florida State 12, Florida 40. Tyler did mention on 24/7 that Florida is 35.
Yeah.
Texas is at 5. Just like looking at the big ones. So this is a shock. Indiana, number 13. What the hell?
wow.
yeah.
How is that possible?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Indy.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones reference. Sorry. Trying to sound like Sean Connery there. Sorry. Didn't work out
That
too
was
good.
that was terrible. That was pretty bad. That was,
I should have went
I did
with
not know that that's who you're
Hoosiers.
going for at all.
Indy. Yeah.
Have you ever heard Sean Connery?
Come to the Rock.
Much better. See, now that one I got.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, no, Florida State. It was probably good we didn't have an episode. We were in shambles. I mean, yes, you just heard we were number 12. We lost our #1 recruit. You will go by our whole podcast episodes, and we were just Travis Hunter. Travis. It don't. As long as
Every
we got
episode we
Travis,
talked about it. Yeah.
But this guy is. I mean, so with that being said, I don't care how far ahead. It ain't till the day it ends that you sign, and I'm not going to believe it. I don't care if it's Jackson Hartle and I'm his father, and Sarah.
And he tells you he's
and
going
I'm
to
just-
Florida State.
And yeah, and it just he goes somewhere else.
Okay, we'll see.
Deion Sanders creeps out like the closet. He's like, Jackson.
Your daddy loves
Yeah,
me.
what a-
Let me tell you. Go look at his posters on the wall. But
It would have
yeah,
been a good podcast to have, but yeah, Ryan probably would have said some things he regretted.
yeah, I would have regretted a lot of things. I think once it all settled, I actually found a light, a positive thing about it. This is my take. I didn't hear it from anybody. It's interesting because, go to HBCU. Okay, he wants to change it. It's doing something bigger than football. Okay, so like I understand this, but you visited Jackson State. I think it was November 21st when they played against Alcorn State. It was Jackson State versus Alcorn State. He went out as an unofficial visit. That game broke a record. It was the largest HBCU game of at any of the HBCUs before. It was only like 55,000, but
Like attendance.
It had more than the Egg Bowl, which was Mississippi versus Mississippi State, which is the biggest rivalry in that state.
Yeah.
The HBCU game was bigger. So that was an impact on them. But my thinking is
Travis Hunter's going to be pissed when next year he starts playing and he's like, man, where are all the people that were here when I was here?
But what I was
Where all those
thinking
fans at?
was like, if making an HBCU so much more important than coming to Florida State, why wouldn't you commit then and there? Why wouldn't you try to steal a couple Florida State recruits? Why wouldn't you recruit maybe people from Mississippi or the surrounding areas?
Yeah.
They didn't. I think there is some type of shady thing. It's just a feeling. It didn't come from Jackson State, but it came from someone that Deion's affiliated with, either Barstool
Sports.
or
Barstool
some
were
other
calling y'all
sister
out.
company, whatever. It came down to the wire. But what I would like to think, and to keep, like, we benefited off of Deion Sanders. Like, he might have not ever even gave us a dime of his fortune at all. But every single year, there's a name drop of some recruit. Yeah, I want to be the next Deion. Oh yeah,
100%.
Deion played here. We've benefited off of him, and we still are. Travis Hunter, he was the bell cow. He is still our bell cow for this class because they waited until signing day. If he would have done this when he visited, or even a day or two before, I think we would have had a couple guys that would have had cold feet or they would have went visit somewhere else and would have made
Yeah.
an easy transition over. They saved our class by doing it that time. And
The
I
day
think
of,
he
yeah.
I would want to say he did it out of the love of Florida State. That is Dion and Travis Hunter. But
Yeah.
That's an interesting take.
Maybe.
I haven't thought of that. And if that's intentional, obviously, then thank you. But
right.
I mean, obviously we would have much rather have had him, but it's very, at the very least, it's very interesting to see, the biggest player. And I saw the other day, because Hartle's probably the same way. Deion Sanders is my favorite athlete ever to walk the earth. So obviously huge Florida State guy.
Loved him when he was with the Braves.
Loved him and loved him as a baseball player as well. Like, he was just, for guys my age and Hartle's age, he was the guy where, probably the best cornerback ever to walk the face of the earth, right? Like, I don't think you're going to get an argument there.
Yeah.
But it was crazy that obviously Travis Hunter left, but he might be changing the scene or whatever. A lot of people were saying, who's going to want to watch this kid play teams no one's ever heard of. The only reason we know about Jackson State is Deion Sanders, right? He put him on the map. He went there. And there's a lot of talk also is like, well, did FSU ever try to have him coach? Like, did he want to coach? Was that ever a conversation? Imagine how recruiting would be if you have Deion Sanders at a school like FSU or any other major D1 program. But it'll be interesting to see how it changes the landscape of college recruiting and HBCUs. But you cannot convince me that it was just helping out an HBCU college, or there's got to be money involved or something.
He did it the wrong way. Like I said, he did it in the last hour of signing. I mean, not last hour, but the last day. And if he really wanted to make an impact, that he would have been doing this. And the whole time that he was with Florida State, he repeatedly said, I want this to be the history class. I want this to be the class that everybody looks back and says, this was what changed Florida State back. It was this class. It was this class.
Right.
Easy recruiting spin for Deion Sanders. Hey, you want to do something that's a little bit bigger than that? How about help out your own? Why would you help out HBCUs? And I watched that. There's a name for it, but it's the podcast with Cam Newton and Chad Ochocinco, Brandon Marshall.
Oh yeah. I don't know the name of it, but I know
I forget
what
the
you're talking
name
about.
of it, but it's one of the top podcasts. A lot of people.
Are you talking about the one with Deion was on?
Yeah, and they were saying, I think did I talked about this before? They're like, hey, I want to give you, okay, if Alabama called tomorrow, you going, Deion? Shut up. Like, why Jackson State? You could have got a much better job than this. And he was like, no. He goes, I don't want to just help Jackson State. I want it to, when we play FAMU, that there's trucks of coverage going to FAMU and every day at their practice showing how they're preparing for Jacksonville State, or not Phil, sorry, Jackson State.
Yeah.
I want it to change every school, not just my school. I want the whole league to change. And I saw that vision. I heard that passion from him. Now, still, like, if Alabama's coming knocking on your door, I mean, he's already doing commercials with Nick Saban with Aflac, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you go and look at a national championship game and you see those teams run out the tunnel, it's like, man, you're talking about it's going to be a lot of change in the kid to be something like that, because it's going. But I think it's going to change. I mean, eventually, but I don't see Jackson State knocking off a top-rated school anytime soon. In the next 10 years.
They're not Appalachian State that's going to knock off Michigan, and Appalachian State did it again this year. I forget who they knocked off, but I don't see that happening, much less like they're the team that you hear about like once a year. That
South Carolina
might have been South Carolina, one of them, but they're the team where, a big program like Florida State, Alabama pays them $500,000 to, hey, come let us murder you. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far he can take it. And also to be interesting to see, because I think they had like a decent year, like for them.
11-2. They lost their bowl game, but yeah,
they
were 11-1 or 12-1 until the bowl game.
Yeah. So great year for them, right? I mean, that's a success, right? but it'll be interesting to see if Dion is actually a legitimate good coach. 5 years on the road, does he jump
Yeah.
ship and go to Alabama or Florida State? You know what I mean? Like, and then at that point, it's like, all right, well, all this stuff you were talking, yeah, you probably changed it, and you got a lot of people thinking about HBCUs, but. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. You know what I mean? I mean, the
Yeah,
guy's
I
got.
mean, how much is Barstool going to end up paying them? I mean,
Right.
just they got a lot of feedback from this whole Travis Hunter thing, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's probably looking to he'd rather be the commissioner for HBCUs than go to the damn Alabama or something. I mean,
Right.
so who knows?
Yeah.
Possibilities are endless, but interesting. It's not going to end college football as we know it.
No.
No, not yet.
I mean, because I'm looking at Florida State, looking at Alabama and Georgia, and I'm like, I feel like an HBCU right now. Like, as in, like,
Yeah.
man, how are we even going to compete with these guys?
Well, so here's a good thought-provoking question as well. Would this have happened last year before players were able to get compensated? What it's the
right.
NIH or NIL, national national likeness? Would this have happened? So
there's no proof, but I did read an article, and it was estimated that Texas A&M paid $25 to $30 million for this class. And it was basically their top boosters. All of them had one kid. Each booster, the top boosters had a kid that they got them what they wanted or whatever the NIL to make it legal.
Allow them to do, yeah.
Right. So
Dude, that's a lot
who
of money
knows? I
coming
mean,
out of
even
that
if it
school,
was divided by 10 and it was 2.5 to 5 million or whatever,
Yeah.
3 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy now. And I just, unless you're in the SEC, it's game over. I think it's game over for Florida State unless they can somehow come in the back door and get into SEC. Because we'll get beat up. We'll be Vanderbilt for here and there a couple of years, but
hopefully, fingers crossed.
But let an Urban Meyer come to Florida State, or let a top tier coach come to Florida State, and we're right back at it. But I mean, unless they start expanding that college playoff to 8 to 16 teams or something, it's going to be very difficult for someone to compete.
Right. Yeah.
16 teams. How many SEC teams are going to be in there?
Right. 15.
14. Yeah.
It's like the SEC, and then SEC minus like Vanderbilt. I can't even cut out anybody else. I mean,
they need to cut out Vandy. It's just y'all's education stuff would just be a laughing stock without Vandy.
True. Jaguars.
Hey.
So we end the season on a high note. We beat the Colts. Trevor Lawrence shows some flashes of greatness. What are y'all's thoughts on? Well, the good thing is we're number 1 again in the draft order. So I think there's like a clear 2 guys that'll go 1, 2. So be interesting if we take one of those guys or if we trade
both defensive ends.
Yeah. One of them is from Georgia, one's from Alabama, or are they both from Alabama?
Thibodeau. I can't pronounce names.
Thibodeau
from Oregon, and then Hutchinson, some JJ Watt looking mofo from Michigan.
Okay.
He's like, I watched his highlight and I was kind of like, yeah. I mean, if that's like Aaron Donald, if that's a Joey Bosa, if that's one of those guys, then let's go ahead and get him on the other side of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, you do take the best available. I want to take the left tackle. It would be so much sweeter if we were at 3 or 4 and he just fell in our lap. I'd be excited about it, but at the number 1 pick, you do take the best guy. Sorry, I'm jumping into the draft. I don't know if we wanted to talk about the game at all.
I mean, insignificant game. I think what we prevented the Colts from going to the playoffs,
which is a big deal. I mean, it wasn't like we're both like Colts didn't care because they missed the playoffs. Like they came to come and kick our ass. and it was a complete domination.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I think that typically happens sometimes where players are kind of fighting for the job for next year. Those lower tier players end up doing some things. I mean, obviously we didn't have James Robinson, we didn't have ETN the whole year. We didn't, injuries left and right. So we had a lot of people out there playing their hearts out. So that was the positive take of the game.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah, agree. So obviously no head coach. I think on the hot stove or whatever you call it, trending. I think Byron Leftwich is the favorite to get it. Have y'all seen that?
Favorite?
Mhm. Wow.
I didn't research on it lately.
It
I
was
saw his name pop up, but I know he's a favorite.
it was who's the guy's name? Is it Bill O'Brien? Or
Yeah,
The old
Texans.
Texans
the old-
coach?
he was the favorite, and then like 2 days after, like as of Friday, Byron Leftwich is now the favorite. Like if you look on like a betting website, which I love, obviously. I think I would be great to have him.
He's bringing Brady with him, right?
Yeah, Brady.
Yeah,
Brady,
that'd be
we'll
great.
sign Brady till he's age 50. So
Trevor can learn, like, listen, you can play
Yeah.
till you're 52, man. Like,
yeah,
times are
I'll be
changed.
Wouldn't that be something?
I'll be trying to go to the Queens Harbor pool, check out Giselle.
I doubt Queens Harbor is the place to be now.
No. No,
That's
it's not.
That's the new Arlington.
Hey, relax.
Yeah,
I live like half a mile from Queens Harbor. Relax, okay?
It's the new Arlington, man. You got like Telvin Smith in there getting arrested. And crap,
Oh no.
Oh man, I actually on Twitter the other day he retweeted something, and I'm like, how's this
He's back, he's
motherfucker not?
back.
How's this motherfucker not locked up?
I follow him on Instagram, and he's telling everybody to believe in him and watch out. I mean, it looks like he's $185. I don't seriously.
He's talking about coming back to the NFL.
I don't know, but I mean, what are you talking about? Like,
Right.
y'all watch out. Y'all gonna see something. Y'all gonna, it just. It ain't gonna be in the NFL.
No. Yeah, that time's come and gone. So, so new head coach, that'll be interesting. Also interesting because we have the first pick. So you would think that we would want to make a decision sooner rather than later. Obviously, the head coach is going to have a huge choice in that.
So the GM's not getting fired. I guess that was some.
That's
stuff
what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
How do you not let him go? Like, what dirt does he have on Shad Khan where Shad's like, yeah, we're going to stick with this guy. Things have been going great over the last 5 years. So what's his name? Like
Epstein's Island together. It's
Balky.
Like,
yeah.
Balk.
I know.
Balk. Yeah. Balk. Yeah. So I don't like that. And I'm convinced that Shad Khan is a good dude. He just doesn't know shit about football, and he's just got a ton of money.
What about his son, though?
His son don't know shit, man.
More.
He don't know crap, man. I'm not sold on him as well.
Yeah.
I think
tech into the analysis too.
I mean, I'm sure he's gonna take over the reins at some point, right? I mean,
yeah, he has to, right?
10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, Shad Khan's going to be on Mars with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. So Tony's going to be stuck running the damn Jacksonville Jaguars, like with all those other idiots on Earth. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, obviously awful year. It was brutal to watch all year. What did we end up with? 3 wins?
Yeah, I think so.
We got that many?
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about
we had the London, and we had I think we just had the one other outside of the last game.
Yeah, I think it was 3 wins.
Who was the London game?
Miami?
Yeah, we did beat Miami. Yep. Man.
Oh, how about them firing their coach after a 9-game win streak?
I'd take him.
Yes.
Take him.
Like, how is he not our favorite right now?
We don't even know his name. We won him.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they fired the guy. Like, the guy wins 9 games in a row, and you're like, oh, no,
a couple articles I saw was just like, well, he won't be unemployed for too long. Like,
no,
he's one of the hottest names, I guess, out there. Even though we don't know it.
What could have happened? What could have gone on there?
Well, it's his 3rd season. I think his overall record was 24-25. Maybe flip flop it 25-24. But he missed the playoffs again.
Give me that record over the last 3 years.
They had. I mean, they definitely. They've got a team. I think I've even said earlier in the season, maybe when we were playing them. I was shocked that they were 1-4 or whatever, because they had like a lot of good free agent signings. They raped Houston from draft picks with this whole Tunzel draft trade and stuff like that. So I mean, they were like, they were only missing a quarterback, in my opinion.
Tua. I don't think Tua is the long-term answer there. I think if they get,
but I think he was the one that was doing the winning streak.
Yeah, I mean, but he also started them off to a 1-4, right?
Yeah.
While I'm thinking about it, what were y'all's thoughts on the Antonio Brown fiasco? Did y'all see that? And obviously the videos and take shirt off.
I was just confused. I'm like, what in the world? Like, what could be going on in the guy's head that like he makes that decision?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna look good to anybody. So you're gonna look bad.
You're done. You're never playing NFL again. Like, unless like his best friend.
They've said that before.
It's Elon Musk, and he can buy a team and let him, play on it or something, or his friend.
Yeah,
he's done. I mean, to me, if I was a GM, I'd take a chance on him. I mean, you have to pay him $1 million, like
league minimum.
Kick
him in the contract to make sure that anything like that.
Yeah, don't do this, and that, and you're voided. And
here's what's funny. Tomorrow morning we wake up, Jaguars sign Antonio Brown.
He's good.
I'm happy. I'm like, yes. So we have another weapon for Trevor Lawrence.
Receiver. I mean,
yeah. I mean, but I felt like, I don't know. I don't even want to go down the road with Antonio Brown. But I don't think we'll see him in an NFL uniform again.
Yeah, a lot of people are, there's like CTE speculation with like, trauma to the head, and I don't know. I just think he's a moron, to be honest. Antonio, if you see this, I'm sorry. I don't mean any ill intent toward you. We know our podcast is on your radar, but I mean, like you have a dream situation. You just won a Super Bowl last year. Tom Brady's been like your biggest advocate for whatever reason.
I think
and
that's
just
the
like,
part that
you just give them the middle finger.
That's the part I have a little issue with. It's just like, you kind of solidify yourself a little bit more. I mean, he's already done amazing things statistic wise, even before he got to Tampa Bay. But you get yourself another ring, hell, I mean, I don't think there's Tom Brady slowing down anytime soon. Like, maybe get another ring, I mean, just kind of get in this, like, I don't know, it just would have had a better look, but obviously he doesn't care.
If he was upset with issues with the top brass or whoever it was, I guess because it had to do with him being injured.
Yeah, he was saying that he couldn't play at top speed. He shouldn't be out there. And
the head coach told him like, "Hey, you're in on this next series," and he was like, "I can't go, coach." And the coach on the sideline was like, "Well, if you can't go, like, then you're not
leave. Get out.
Yeah, you're not playing for us, right?"
I mean, then sit down, and then there's the platform you have now. Like to do that. Like, if you don't do that, and then you just go out and you talk about it, and you're like, look, man, this is a real issue. Now I know that he's not going to get necessarily the benefit of the doubt just because of his past, but
it was interesting too, because it took a couple of days. I mean, I feel like Tampa Bay definitely had to like dot their I's, cross their T's to make sure they're not going to be in trouble for this, because it did take a couple of days for them to really get released, just to make sure it wasn't work related to, or they were in the wrong.
So in that press conference after the game, is it Bruce Arians?
Yeah, he said he's no longer.
He said he's no longer a Buck, but you're right.
He doesn't have the authority to do that.
Right, but it didn't get released until like that following Tuesday or whatever. Where they're like, he's been officially released by the Bucks.
And we're back. So we had a little quick break, but we talked about Florida State a lot. We talked about the Jaguars. We talked about HBCUs, and we almost forgot about the Florida Gators and their bowl game that they had. So we'll go ahead and let Tyler take over for that.
The bowl game. Just wanting to forget it. Don't really want to remember that one. So you're just ready to move on past that whole Dan Mullen era and into the new Billy Napier era. UCF, they got their win against Florida, so
they got another national title, right?
Yeah. Was it true Mackenzie Milton
maybe
played?
they'll just randomly claim it as state national champion,
Yeah.
state national champions. But
Dante Culpepper came back for a game.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know, and I thought for a minute there that I was like, oh, okay, we got this one, no problem. But UCF stuck with it, and then eventually put us away, and he beat us pretty good. So
We got their stud linebacker. I think he had like 15
it was a rough
tackles
one.
against
It
y'all.
was not fun to watch.
We got the UCF's linebacker. He had like 15 tackles
Geez,
against
I
y'all.
don't-
Oh, we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on down to Tallahassee.
If you didn't, I don't know his name. He was number 15.
Yay.
It might have been a nightmare for you. I can't remember. I didn't watch the game, so I don't have.
No, I think I just tried to forget that game. Honestly, like not, there's nothing really want to analyze or break down or
Right,
kind of
right.
see like, what does this mean for next year at all?
So Billy Napier.
We had to play the game. We wanted to get to a bowl game. We had to win the game, or we had to play the game. And I was something I was actually nervous about. I was like, man, it's like, of course, this is when we play UCF in the bowl game of all years, and so they got the win.
I was kind of thinking
ready for the Billy Napier.
I was kind of putting ourselves, even though we wouldn't have been matched up with UCF. I was just kind of like, especially like after y'all lost, I was like, I'm so glad we didn't go to the damn bowl game. Like it'd probably be like bad for us for some reason, or just kind of. But
Yeah.
You're already changing, like.
Yeah, we'd probably lose like our top recruit or something.
Yeah.
It seems pretty clear that Emory Jones is. I don't know. I thought it was clear that he was gone. He entered the transfer portal, but I don't think he's actually declared anywhere. But it seems like A.R. Richardson is definitely going to be our guy going into next year. And he wasn't even playing in the game, so it's like this isn't even necessarily what our next year. A lot of times with the bowl games, you're looking for next year guys to get in there and show out.
Yeah, you definitely
they even had Copeland. Copeland played, and he's transferred.
The wide receiver.
So
is he the wide
number
receiver?
one? He's like number one. He wore number one.
Okay.
He's the guy. If y'all remember, a couple of years ago, like he committed, and then his mom walked out on the commitment. She eventually came back, but he was an all-world talent and just never really produced. Seems like he didn't get targeted enough, and I think he was probably open a lot and just didn't get targets. But good talent. Hate to see him go, but
I was gonna say, I mean, if you look past our end of our first season, we talked about AR-15 a lot, and you got to think now with a new coach. I think you still are excited about him. I mean, I'm thinking in my head, if I'm a Florida State fan, which I am, do I want y'all to have Emory Jones out there, or do you want y'all to have the AR-15? I'm kind of more comfortable with Emory Jones, even though he would probably beat us. But there's just something a little bit still there. I think you do see, like, there's obviously some stuff he needs to work out throwing wise, under pressure. But that stuff, kids can pick up and learn, especially with the good coaches and stuff like that. So I just feel like his ceiling is much higher.
There's a lot more upside for AR.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Is I don't think he was consistent this year when he did get to play, in terms of the big playability, but definitely the upside is there with AR Richardson. Anthony Richardson, that you don't see with Emory Jones as much, which Emory Jones is very athletic and strong, cannon for an arm, but I don't know. It's just when you see him on the field, that the it factor doesn't really seem to show out like it does for Richardson. But Richardson, I mean, it's not like a guy where I'm like, oh, he's going to step in next year and he's going to have a Heisman year or something like that. I mean, he could come in and not do much better than Emory Jones. I keep getting the names combined, but I definitely feel like I'm definitely excited, to see what he can do.
I pulled
especially
up,
once we start getting some talent.
ourlads.com shows the 2022 football roster for Florida, and there's no quarterbacks behind AR-15. So I mean, I'm looking.
Oh,
You're
wow.
probably going to be receiving a transfer to kind of give them some type of
We already got
competition.
one out of Ohio State.
Oh,
We-
who's this
Yeah,
kid?
he transferred down from Ohio State.
Like this year
I
or
can't-
last year?
Can't remember. Yeah, it was announced within the last week or two.
Okay,
I
okay.
can't remember his name. And I tried to have all the stuff pulled up on my phone, just like pooped out on me. And so now I've got like no, so I'm not looking all that stuff up again. I had it ready for the
Must be
podcast.
T-Mobile. We'll move
Yes.
on. Just kidding.
Thanks, Steve Jobs.
So I could deliver names.
I'll look it up real quick.
I know,
just
but
to-
then we selected our offensive coordinator as well. So now we've got, we're kind of filling out that coaching staff. I believe Rob Sale is the name, offensive line coach for the Giants. Apparently was his offensive coordinator at Louisiana.
Chris
I
Parson.
don't know much about him. Who's that?
What the heck?
Never mind. This is Tallahassee, Florida. My phone's so used to I put Florida QB as the search, and it,
I know in Florida
still gives
State.
me
Yeah.
because
Oh, so you're trying to talk about the transfer down?
yeah.
Jack Miller.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, gosh, there's a million Jack Millers in the world.
He just sounds like a winner.
And then, this wasn't, I think it was a kid that, talent coming out of high school. Just hasn't really got to play at Ohio State. and transferred
13th
down.
pro style quarterback coming out of high school, 2020. He was 334 overall for 247, 9th overall in Arizona. So he's an Arizona kid. Yeah. Trying to hope 6'4", 210.
Sounds like a quarterback.
Yep.
Sports Illustrated says 6'3", 215. But he'll have 4 years of eligibility is what they say. So he was a redshirt this past year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's some names out there.
I mean, he's coming in, I guess, to do the battle, but I think it's AR-15's job to lose. And, so we'll have hopefully a good quality backup. But I mean, we got to, obviously this year, I think we got 12 recruits were, as you said, between 35 and 40. I can't imagine we jump too much up. Maybe we get into the 20s when everything's said and done. But, this year's going to have to be getting some transfers to kind of fill out our roster and focus on that next year's recruiting class so we can start competing. But still nothing really bad to say about Billy Napier and what he's done so far.
Well, it's
We'll
early.
see. Hopefully we have a
What's
a tough team.
where did the offensive coordinator come from?
Plenty of time to get mad. What's that?
Yeah.
Where did the
What'd you say,
OC?
Ryan?
Where was he from? The offensive coordinator?
So he was the offensive line coach with the Giants, New York Giants.
Oh,
He just
They've
Tom
been
Coughlin?
they've been successful in the last few years.
Okay.
Rob Sale, I believe is his name. But he was the offensive coordinator.
Rob Sale,
for
yeah.
him, for at Louisiana. So I guess he left for the NFL to be offensive line coach.
Yeah,
That's-
well, looking forward to next season for Florida State. It can't get much worse. I think probably the same.
It does
to be
get
said
much
for Florida.
worse. We start off with the LSU in Baton Rouge.
Oh yeah, but they don't
Yeah.
have Ed.
It's
They
in
don't have
New
Ed
Orleans.
Oregon anymore. So
Yeah, that's true. Thank goodness. Well, I mean, they
No, they got Brian Kelly.
Brian
Yeah.
Kelly. Yeah, well, we almost beat him this year. Shoot.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And it's gonna have a little bit of different talent pool there at LSU though. Although we've stolen some.
Man, I tell you, y'all give Notre Dame so much crap.
they suck, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
this
good
you've got-
program. Not saying they're not a good program, but they every time they go to play the other top tier teams, they just they don't
Shit
pull
the
it
bed.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they won't even enter a conference. You're talking about like how everyone's gonna be left in the dust with the SEC, and hopefully Florida State can join somehow. Notre Dame's just not even gonna do anything.
Well, they got that contract with NBC. It's like 20-25 million a year just by themselves. They don't have to share it with no one and all this and that. So, and they get national viewers. So
Plus the Pope supports them.
Who?
The Pope.
Yeah.
I think he would do that anyway if they're a Catholic school. Unless they drop it. Could you imagine if they dropped the Catholic thing?
Oh yeah.
I don't see that happening. That'd be crazy.
No. Yeah, it's not. All right, you fellas got anything else?
I
Nope.
wish I had a story or something. I guess we've been talking about our next show. I mean, this is going to be the end since there's no more college football, no more Jaguar football. The next thing to go around will probably be the spring games in April. That's also around the time of the draft. So
We'll
I
have
think,
one more. We'll have one more signing day. One more signing day too.
well,
so
yeah, which
finalize it, but
I'm pretty sure. I mean, unless it's
not very eventful.
last year it wasn't. I mean, for
Yeah.
Florida State it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe for other schools it was, but so and then we'll probably get back into it. I mean, obviously, if anything major happened, like if Urban Meyer got fired or anything like that, we would, we'll have a show or something. But like I said, we'll probably do one in April. Draft, spring games, and then before football season start, we'll get back on it for season 2. So thank you so much for the views.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys.
Watching us, giving us likes, this and that. Y'all enjoy yourselves, and college football hopefully it won't be ruined too much by next year.
Like we said, it can't get much worse. All right. Thanks to
Hopefully
everybody.
we have 3 and much improved teams next year.
Yeah.
Something more exciting to talk about.
Definitely.
All right.
All right, brothers.
Love you guys.
ya.
Be safe.
All right. Comment, like, subscribe.
Yeah, that too.
All that shit.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.